All right, I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. To everybody watching this on replay, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, we are live answering your cord cutting related questions, doing our best to help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience. So, hey, I'm going to quickly share this as people join. We are putting this live on YouTube every Wednesday, but I'm sharing this across all of our social media. So if you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on, you will be able to see the alerts right there that we're going live on YouTube. But hey, we answer your cord cutting related questions. We chat about all things cord cutting. We try to help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience because hey, paying for crazy overpriced cable TV is just not worth it. Let's be honest. They charge too much and they give you too little. So if as you come in, let me know how my volume is. If you've been following, you know the last 2 weeks I've been gone. A week with family, a week camping with the kids. That was a ton of fun, but it's really good to be back in the house. You know, there's only so much away from home you can take before you're like, I just want to be home. So, all right. Jimmy, Teresa, John, it's great to see you all back again. Let me know how my all right, Corey says I sound good. That works. Answered my question as I asked it, Corey. You must be reading my mind. All right. Why is Walmart trying to get paid subscribers when they have Voodoo? I'm sure they're looking to diversify. The competition for big box stores is big. I mean, beyond Walmart, there is the Dollar Generals and Family Dollars and all those really trying to take on Walmart in their own game. And now so Walmart's trying to diversify. And one of the ways they're doing that is by launching a streaming service. Let's say, let me zoom this out just a tiny bit. There we go. That's better. So Walmart is trying to diversify is what I think they're trying to do. They're saying, hey, you know, we can't 100% rely on the big box stores forever and continue to expand. So we'll have to wait and see what they do there. Now, just because they're looking at launching a subscription-based streaming service does not mean they are necessarily going to do it. So just keep that in mind. Dean says, I read your article about Sinclair launching Stir, it's a new service that they plan to launch free online and over the air. That's a 24-hour news service. What does Stir stand for? We don't know. That was not included in the leak. So keep the questions coming. Any IPTV service for Roku? Well, there's Sling, DirecTV Now, Hulu, Philo. The list goes on and on. PlayStation View. Had a TiVo ad when we started the show today. Well, there should be ads. This is, if you're not a YouTube Premium now, excuse me, I almost called it YouTube Red. There should be ads. All right. DirecTV Now is going up. You're a right movie fan. $5 a month on everyone, even if you have the grandfather discount plan. Dean says that Stir is a weird name for a news service. I'm sure it stands for something. It could be abbreviation. And of course, it could just be a working name. You know, a lot of times these services launch with like, you know, here is a working name when we're in development. And before it goes public, we'll come up with a legitimate, like, here's a good name for the service. And we'll have to wait and see what they actually call it. Will the new net neutrality bill gain traction? Could face some uphill battles because they're looking at charging, rolling out taxes on the internet, basically. I know they're called service fees. It's basically a tax. That will probably face some strong criticism on both sides of the aisle in an election year. I'm sure they don't want to be seen as tax or rolling out brand new taxes just as they're asking you to vote for them. Especially on the internet, which is something that historically so far not really had taxes. Tiki Live just seems to be a rebrand of forget what it is, Valiant, whatever. It's okay. I haven't fully tested it. The Tiki Live guys have never once responded to my emails. Their loss. All right, what is going on with Google? Timothy, can you be a little more specific in your question? I wish all of the channels would stream like Antenna TV Classic Network. I do wish like Antenna would stream or MeTV would stream. MeTV does have on-demand content on their website. But yeah, it would be great if they follow Charge and Comet's example. And even the game, what's that game show network? Buzz is now streaming. And they also they stream on Twitch too now. So I think it's a slightly different one. Yeah, movie fan, there's some great Fire TV deals. $19.99 for a Fire TV stick was unbelievable. Yeah, you got the 3rd gen for $34, really good. Yeah, Dean Buzzer, that's the name of the service there. Yes, Raymond says Google got a big fine in European Union. What's happening? Well, European Union does not like U.S. tech companies. They've made that pretty clear. I'm not surprised they're doing it. $5 billion because they think that Google is overemphasizing their technology. I think it's kind of crazy because you look at like Apple, and Apple like locks everything into what they do, and no one seems to really mind that. If the EU went and like sued Apple and Google and Microsoft and on and on. I mean, I hate it in my Microsoft app because whenever I open Google, every now and then I get that little pop-up from Microsoft Edge. It's like, hey, do you know the Edge is better in battery life or something? They all do this kind of stuff. To say Google does it any more than anybody else, I think it's honestly dishonest. But I don't know the specifics. I don't live in Europe. Maybe in Europe there's Google's doing something that I'm unaware of here. And that's very possible. But I mean, $5 billion. I mean, European Union has to be careful because Google could just say, hey, for $5 billion, see ya, EU. Don't put it past Google to say, EU, see ya. No more Gmail, no more Google search, no more calendar. We're just going to cut you off if you're going to try to give us a $5 billion fee. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Hi, Luke. Antenna TV Classic Network will get a lot of feedback if Antenna TV's new Classic Network would, I agree with you, Adam, would do really well if it streams it online. So we'll wait and see. We'll see. I mean, I think eventually that's the future for a lot of these sub channels, but not quite yet. I like TiVo. I have 2 box, one for tuner, one with 2 tuners. One I've had since 2010. That's the only thing I hate about cord cutting. Cornbread, I don't understand what your question is because TiVo boxes, there are TiVo boxes for over-the-air TV and cord cutting. So what exactly is the issue? Let me know. Well, Article 13 copyright law hurt cord cutters in European Union hurt cord cutters. You know, I'm not off the top of my head familiar with Article 13 copyright law. Let me Google that real quick because I'm not familiar with that. Oh. Okay, I know what this is. That's a new copyright law in Europe. I'm not sure. I think, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to hurt cord cutting because the legal cord cutting option shouldn't be affected by this. I do think it's maybe not the best thing for the internet as a whole. I think it's overly aggressive. But yes, the Article 13 threw me. But yes, the new copyright law that's going into effect there, it's probably not a good thing overall. I think it's overly aggressive. And I'm a content creator. I've had my content stolen or ripped off and re-uploaded as their own. It's never fun when that happens. You work hard day and night to create a great content and people rip it off. So I get the idea that people want to protect it. On the flip side of that, I think people should, I think that there really should be protections on all sides, but I think this is going a little crazy, to be honest with you. But for cord cutting, I don't think it's going to hurt it. My Sony TV died last year. Had a good run. I'm looking to get a TCL 6 series this Black Friday in November. You know, I just got TCL 6 series in this week. I'm doing the testing and review. I will say this, a little hit preview. The TCL 6 series is the best TV under $1,000. Now, I get it. There's $2,000, $3,000 TVs that are better quality. But under $1,000, this is probably the best TV in the market right now. So just keep that in mind. Is DirecTV Now getting ready for an update? Yeah, they've been slowly rolling out updates almost weekly recently. So, but yeah, there are tons of issues as you're saying there, John, and they just haven't fixed them all, unfortunately. Luke, when I signed up for ESPN Plus, I thought I got access to live TV, but it's only it's only exclusive stuff to ESPN Plus. Yes, if you read my review or watch my review here on YouTube of ESPN Plus, yes, I say it right there. ESPN Plus is not a cord cutting service. Yes, cord cutters can use it. Yes, it is give you tons of content, but it doesn't replace cable by any way. ESPN Plus is really meant for hardcore sports fans, and what ESPN Plus does is say, hey, if you're a hardcore sports fan and you already have our ESPN 1, 2, News, etc., and you want even more content, that's where ESPN Plus app comes in. Cord cutters can get it and cable fans can get it, but it's not targeting cord cutters. It's targeting hardcore sports fans. And this is where other sites, some of the big name news sites, tech news sites out there, really got it wrong. They're like, oh, ESPN, answer to cord cutting, ESPN Plus. No, because it doesn't give you anything you can get with a cable subscription. I mean, if you want ESPN 1, 2, etc., you still need Sling TV, DirecTV Now, Hulu, etc. So just keep that in mind. ESPN Plus is for hardcore sports fans that want even more news. Luke, will Verizon replace Go90 streaming service? Yes, Go90 streaming service is shutting down. They're moving the content over to Yahoo. So Yahoo's streaming platforms are getting that content. Luke, I thought of a wonderful idea. Those networks like Antenna TV and its classic network and some of the others, why don't you stream those networks to us till they do? Because that would be copyright theft, and they would come sue the living daylights on me. Do you think DirecTV Now's got to have it packages worth it? That's a personal question. If it has the channels you want, yeah, then it's worth it. If it doesn't have the channels you want, then no, it's not worth it. Go to CoreCarsNews.com. The link to it down in the show notes down below. It brings you the beginner's guide. At the top, there's a live TV guide. Click on that, and it will launch right there so that you can get a full side-by-side breakdown of all the content there. I'm hoping Apple can update their Apple TV to control your TV like the Amazon Cube. Probably. Apple's been playing a lot of catch-up recently with their streaming devices. It's a beautiful user interface, but as far as features, they're definitely playing catch-up. It seems like every other year they launch one. So probably not this year, but next year we'll probably get one. They may sneak out a update this year, but I highly doubt it, just to be honest with you. When will cable officially be done extinct? Probably never. I envision cable will always have like some type of weird, like first class airline. Most people ride coach. Cord cutting's coach. First class is cable. And you may say, hey, if you're willing to pay a premium price, we can give you some premium experiences. But most people are more than happy with coach. All right. So if you have a question, keep it coming. And remember, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're live on YouTube right here answering cord cutting-like questions. We're also, all kinds of other videos are posted on there. So keep that in mind. And so keep that in mind, hit subscribe. Reading, talking, not going well today. I go on vacation for a week and suddenly forget how to do these kind of things. Luke, should the DOJ win their should the DOJ win their appeal of the court case in their attempt to block the Time Warner AT&T merger, will HBO be saved or likely not? If the DOJ wins, it's unlikely that AT&T will lose ownership of HBO and other Time Warner assets. They may have to sell out some, probably some limitations to be put on them. But as far as saved, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people are upset because AT&T's out there saying, hey, we're going to try and make HBO more profitable. We're going to try to do this and that and the other thing. A lot of people are saying that's not what we want HBO to be. As far as will we save it, I don't know, to be honest with you. Any news on Discovery Channels providing a streaming service? Yes, Discovery has said they intend to launch a streaming service. They'll have multiple tiers starting at $6 a month, include content from their recently purchased Scripps networks like HGTV and Discovery Networks. When that will come out, it's been rumored later this year. Do Amazon have YouTube app? Nope, Amazon does not. YouTube or Google and Amazon kind of falling out, and Google pulled their app from Amazon. They do have a web browser, which is becoming increasingly feature rich of YouTube, but it's not there yet. Yes, I believe if you get the email and a special invite, you can still get the 3 months for $10 deal of DirecTV Now. Hello, Joe. Is there any streaming service that doesn't buffer? I've been very impressed with YouTube. Hulu recently has been very good. Sling TV has been very good. Of course, Netflix, Amazon, whatever. A few things. Most buffering, not all. DirecTV Now in particular recently has been suffering heavily, but they're not alone. There's others. But most buffering is actually issues within your home network. Weak Wi-Fi being the number one reason. So check that out. Make sure you have good Wi-Fi. And that's my number one tip to address any buffering issues. Make sure you're actually getting the speed you pay for, and make sure your Wi-Fi is good. What do you think the best digital store to buy movies? iTunes, Google Play, Vudu. I would put Amazon. I buy a lot of my stuff on Amazon. All their apps support the stuff I want. So Amazon have to be on that list. But in reality, they're all good. It depends on what device. If you have an Apple TV, iTunes, of course, is the place to go because that's most integrated with it. If you use a Fire TV, Amazon is. Roku, really, Vudu, Amazon, Google Play, they're all good. So just keep that in mind. If you use exclusively Android and Android TV, Google Play is one of the best ones out there. Though Amazon's been slowly coming to Google Play ones out there. All right. John says he does not believe me. Most Wi-Fi, most buffering, 9 times out of 10, it comes down to weak Wi-Fi. You can have 100 down. People are saying 100. I have 100 down. I shouldn't have buffering. You can have 100 down, but what's the actual speed on your streaming player? If you have about 2 bars of internet, you're probably maybe getting a third of that at best. So my number one recommendation, if you're getting buffering on a lot of different streaming services, check your Wi-Fi. Make sure you don't have weak Wi-Fi. It's not always Wi-Fi. It is, like I said, there are streaming services that are suffering buffering. But my number one thing I find is buffering. Now, here's the other thing. You may say, well, on my computer, I'm getting 100 down. On my phone, I'm getting 100 down. Well, you got to think about where your Wi-Fi is. Or where your streaming player is. If that streaming player is in an area of weak Wi-Fi, then yes, that is the issue. So just keep that in mind. It's not the only reason, but if you come to me and say, hey, I'm suffering from a lot of buffering, 9 times out of 10, when I look at it, weak Wi-Fi is one of the main issues there. Why did Roku drop Spotify? I don't think Roku dropped Spotify. I think Spotify did. Why? I don't know. Pandora, Amazon Music, others are there, so I don't know. Were you surprised that Shutter crashed during the Jim Bob Briggs special last Friday? A little, because I didn't realize there was enough subscribers of Shutter to crash it. Not because probably it was one of the few times Shutter probably attracted a lot of brand new subscribers that night. And I think this is kind of what's happening with other services. You look at like DirecTV Now, they've had a flood of new subscribers. They're probably the fastest growing streaming service in the market right now, live TV streaming service. And when you're growing that fast, it can be hard to keep up. Core Cars News has suffered. About 2 weeks ago, we had an outage because our traffic. Thousands of people were trying to connect to the site every minute, and it overwhelmed the site. And it wasn't just because of a little spike, thousands and thousands of people every minute hitting the site for hours on end just eventually overwhelmed us. We had a little bit of buffering issues and outages on our site. And that kind of happens in the case of Shudder. Jim Bob Briggs is a big fan, especially in the world of horror, from his TNT days. He's on here. It's a one-time event. Watch it live. People flooded the service who probably only subscribed for that particular day to watch that Jim Bob Briggs special. And it brought it down. It was probably much more than they forecasted. So, growing pains. Cord cutting is growing. We're learning. We're getting better about it, but it's far from perfect. So just keep that in mind. But hang in there. I would expect that Shudder and others will get that under control pretty quick. Luke, Plex works very good for me to watch my locals anywhere I want. Yeah, Plex is great. If you have a home media server, Plex is one of the best options for your antenna. If you don't have a home media server, I think Tableau is will offer you similar features that I really recommend. Hey, a lot of questions have been coming, and unfortunately they're going by quicker than I can answer them. So if I missed one of your questions, re-ask it, because I was probably answering another question and I missed it. If YouTube had better channels, John, I'm not sure I understand your question. Re-ask it, and I'll do my best to answer it. You too, Adam. It says, any news coming soon? Don't know. Any news about what? Let me know. Yeah, Dean says his recommendation, if you ever have the ability, is to use Ethernet. I highly recommend it. Ethernet's not always possible for everybody. The power line jacks are an option. Mesh networks, a lot of people like the Google ones and so on. A lot of people have been really liking that. Those are quite powerful but yeah, there's a lot of options out there if you have weak Wi-Fi. If I plug my Ethernet cable into my Android box, will my kids still have Wi-Fi? Yes. Using Ethernet does not turn off your Wi-Fi network. For instance, in this office, everything in this office is Ethernet. But I have Wi-Fi for everything else outside the office. So just keep that. Any updates coming to the site soon? Well, a couple of things happened in Core Cars News. This Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we are teaching a class up in Dallas. Details on the website. At 4 p.m. in Dallas, we are having a Core Cars News meetup. If you want to come, we'll have some free drinks, some free food, shake your hand. 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Saturday. We'd love to have you come out and shake some hands. But those are the kind of big news. We got some graphical changes coming to the website. We're we just had the outage where we did some stuff to improve the back end of the site to be able to handle even more traffic. Where days where thousands of people hitting the site every minute is becoming the norm, we're doing things to address that growth and try to handle that. So that's the big thing. Any tricks to give Comcast to give you the lower rate for new customers? Switch internet providers. What I always do is every couple of years, let's just be honest, Comcast, all of them, they never give you the best rate if you're not a new customer. What I do is I switch between DSL and cable. So I'll spend a year on DSL, and in most areas, DSL speeds are the same as cable. Get their new customer rate, and then switch to Comcast for a couple years, get their new customer rate, and switch back and forth, back and forth. I find that's the best way I get deals on my internet. And that's how I pay things like $29 for 100 down the internet right now is what I'm getting here in the house. So check that out. Are there any set up a Google smart speaker? Larry, I'm assuming you're talking about the Google Home ones, but I'm not understanding what you're trying to do with a Google Home speaker and a Windows tablet. Can you give me a little bit more details on your question? I have a Roku box and an Android box and an Amazon Fire TV. Well, I need to plug an Ethernet cable into each of them. I mean, the more devices you can put on Ethernet, the better. Now, Wi-Fi, if you have a strong Wi-Fi signal, Teresa, that's fine. I mean, all my streaming players in this house are Wi-Fi. I have a Netgear Nighthawk one of the really high-end ones, so I get really strong signal. But I also have a big home, and my Wi-Fi router is not ideally placed. A few tips. Put your Wi-Fi router in the center of your home. That way it does the best possible coverage. I don't, because I have it in my office here so I can hardwire this stuff. But yeah, put it in the center of your home. Try to have, if you know like your living room is the one dead spot, try to move it a little closer to your living room, and you should be good. Really, Wi-Fi is more than enough to stream with streaming players. I have an old tube TV that gives me problems, and I have to bang on it to get it to work. How long can I keep this up? Well, I'm not sure you're being very serious with me, but I would say probably about a month or two more. With CenturyLink fiber, would I use an Ethernet to my Roku when my phone jack is in the kitchen? CenturyLink fiber, I've actually had it before. They put a box on the side of your home, and then they can run a Ethernet jack anywhere in the house you want to put your router. So they'll come in there and they'll install all that for you. I have 25 MBS down, and all kinds of devices use them, like 9. 25 MBS down is more than enough. The question is, what else are you doing? So if you're trying to stream on 25 down, and your kids are trying to game and somebody else is streaming, you can eventually overwhelm that. Think about 25 down. It takes 5 down per HD stream of Netflix. So in theory, you could do about 5 streams of Netflix. But that's assuming you're doing nothing else. So it could be for you, if you have kids and other people, you said you have like 4 or 5 streaming players. Excuse me. If everybody's streaming and some kids are gaming and you're surfing the web, it's possible that may not be enough speed for you. What I recommend doing to test that out is have everybody else stop using the internet for a minute. Just try to watch your internet, maybe when the kids are at school or something. Try to watch your show, see if it works better. If that's the case, maybe you need to get a slightly faster internet plan. Or maybe you need to try to regulate a little bit what everybody's doing. Any word on the Roku soundbar? Well, Roku announced new sound speakers coming out later this year. Exactly when? I don't know. I would expect it in time for Christmas season, but I don't think they've set an exact launch date. Luke, what is the average lifespan of mobile phones? I use mine for streaming. The mobile phone, mine lasts about 2 years on average, I find, but I'm an extremely heavy user. Of course, I'm dropping it. I got kids trying to play with my tablets and so on. So I don't know. That's my average. I don't have any Android devices. The Google Home app says I don't have any devices on the app. Larry, I don't use Google Home. Kind of outside my expertise. But I do believe you can set your Google Home up from a laptop too. But I don't know. Google that problem. Is a Roku TV a good TV to have? Yes, I have several. I actually just got the Roku 6 series. I got a review unit in 2016 for the Roku TVs, and I fell in love with it so much I went and bought a Roku TV for my bedroom. I really do think they are good TVs. The 6 series Roku TVs, which is their new high-end, which is the most expensive Roku TVs in the market right now, really is the best TV, I think, under $1,000. So just keep that in mind. Hi, Luke. Does Tableau come with free guide? Yes, for 24 hours free. If you want a 14-day one, you have to pay the monthly subscription fee for that. But yes, you can use your Tableau in the house with a 24-hour guide for free once you buy it. Joe says, Luke, I heard Amazon and others had the Nvidia Shield for $139. That was a limited time deal, and I want to say it's over. It was part of the Amazon. Oh, there we go. It was part of the Amazon Black Friday deal, or Black Friday. Excuse me. It was part of the Amazon Prime Day deal. And from my understanding, that deal, yes, I can confirm that deal is over now. So unfortunately, if you did not get it yesterday, you missed out. But hey, if you had been following us on Facebook and Twitter and watching the site, we posted when that deal went live to let everybody know about it. So keep an eye on Core Cars News for all the best deals. Do you think Dish Network would drop their cellular service since it will be expensive for them? No, I think Dish has pretty much decided that the future of their TV service is not... the future of Dish is not necessarily TV. TV will always be a part of Dish, but they're very clearly saying, hey, we intend to expand cord cutting into other areas, or in addition to other areas, including their new 5G service. So just keep that in mind. I have a Bose Bluetooth wireless speaker. Will it connect to TCL TV6ers? You know, I don't have it. I don't believe you can connect them Bluetooth. The most TCL TVs do. You do have the ability to connect it through like a pass-through and HDMI and other things. So, but I'm not sure if it works Bluetooth. Does Amazon Alexa products work with Apple or Windows products? They do have some integration there, yes. But the Echoes and so forth are really built as standalone products. But I know, like with my Android, I know they have on like iOS and Android and so on. They have a app there that allows you on my phone to make fine tunes, change the settings, set up a new device, and so forth. But once you connect an Echo and so forth, it's really meant to just be a standalone one. When will Charter launch 5G fiber optic internet? Well, 5G is wireless. It's not a fiber net. It uses fiber, but it's meant as a wireless network to the end user. They are testing it. It could be this year. I wouldn't expect it to be any later than next year. All right. Hey, a lot of new people here. If you're new, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, we're answering your core cover related questions. Every Friday or Saturday when I'm traveling, we have our weekly recap shows. We'd love to have you join us for those, and hopefully we can help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience. Also, check us out at corecardsnews.com. Well, we post 3, 4, sometimes 5 videos a week here on YouTube. Every day we're doing 5, 6, or more posts over at corecardsnews.com with all the latest news, tips, tricks, and how-to guides. So check that out. If I should subscribe to Showtime via Amazon Prime, will I be able to use the Showtime app? You know, I've not done the Showtime one. I know, like on HBO, yes, you can. If you subscribe to HBO through Amazon, you can then go and log in to the HBO Now app. With that said, though, if you subscribe to Showtime through Amazon Prime, the Amazon Video apps has all that video there. And Amazon Video is on pretty much everything now. So it's not like you're going to get additional content by going to the HBO or the Showtime app. Verizon has ended 3G phones. As others follow suit. Verizon still has a 3G network, but their old CDMA network that was exclusively 3G is what's shutting down. So, will others follow suit? I believe others have and will. S-Row asks, I just cut the cord. Is the Nvidia Shield all I need? Yeah, the Nvidia Shield's a great device. Now, if you ever find yourself where like, hey, there's an app that the Nvidia Shield doesn't have, then you may want to look at a Roku app, Fire TV. But for all the big name services, Nvidia Shield has it all pretty much. I mean, they got Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, most of the live TV streaming services. Not all. Unfortunately, Hulu's not there and a few others, but most are. I think you'll be very happy. I would use it until you don't have the one you want or don't have something you want. Bob says, how do I get locals with a Roku? Well, you can get a device like a Tableau DVR where it will stream where you connect your antenna to this little DVR box and you connect that box to your Wi-Fi and it streams out to your Roku. You can try live TV streaming services like Hulu, DirecTV Now, PlayStation View, etc. that may or may not have the locals in your area. Of course, they're not free like they are with an antenna. The other thing is you just connect your antenna to your TV and you switch inputs. That's probably the easiest, straightforward one if you only want it on one. Joe, yes, Hulu. The Nvidia Shield has a Hulu app, but the Nvidia Shield, from my understanding, does not have Hulu Live TV. Recently, unless that just happened and I missed it, recently the Hulu's head developer there said it's on their roadmap. But at the moment, the user base of Android TV is so small that they've been hitting the bigger devices first. And at some point, they may come and get Android TV with the new Hulu Live TV service. So my talking about that was in relation to Hulu Live TV. All right. If you get HBO on the Fire Stick, how do you pay And how do you cancel it? Well, you can subscribe right through the app on your Amazon Fire TV, but you can also subscribe on your laptop or computer and then log into it on your Fire TV. How do you cancel it? You just either, I'm not sure if HBO Now allows you to cancel it in the Fire Stick app, but on your phone or on your computer, just go to your HBO account, sign in, go to settings, cancel subscription. If you subscribed through Amazon, you did it through the Amazon system, you can cancel at any time. Go to Amazon, the channel subscription there, and cancel there. If you just Google how to cancel HBO subscription Amazon, or how to cancel HBO Now subscription, it will walk you through the different steps to do that. Can I switch Showtime live? Can I watch Showtime live program on my Android phone via Amazon Prime? I know they can do that with HBO Now. I don't subscribe to Showtime. I know they have all the on-demand content. I want to say they do offer that now, but they may not. Anybody here subscribe to Showtime through Amazon? Do they offer the live? I know HBO does it through Amazon. Or is it all on demand? Let me know. Luke, how can ISPs handle internet outages better, or no way to prevent them? There's no way to prevent them 100%. I mean, think about it. Comcast goes down with their TV service. It happens. Outages happen. They're becoming far less frequent. I remember late 90s, about 2001, I think actually 2001, Comcast in my home market went down. Something happened. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was down for a week. Internet was out. Can you imagine internet being out for a week nowadays? The sheer pandemonium would be immense. But 2000, 2001, it was a big news, but it wasn't the end of the world. I do remember when it came back online, radio stations broke in for breaking news. Go reset your Comcast routers, and it will start working. So just keep that in mind. But I think they're getting better about it. I think 4G or 5G, will help with that, because there'll be fewer points for the system to break down in. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Hey, Robert says he has the Showtime on Amazon Prime. He subscribed through their channels, and yes, you do get the on-demand and a live TV feed just like you do with HBO. So keep that in mind. My ISP Windstream is talking about providing fixed wireless for the future service. Will this be as fast as 5G? Fixed wireless is similar to 5G, but often when they call it fixed wireless, it's not 5G. It works a little differently. But there's fixed wireless out there with 100, 200 down. I would say fixed wireless is a good quality product. All right. Both Showtime and HBO are live on the standard Android app, but not on the Android TV app. Yeah, one of the downsides by Android TV is a lot of companies have said the user base is so small, and it really is, relative to Roku and Fire TV, and even the Apple TV, which Apple TV is already a distant fourth place. I mean, the Android TV is a pretty distant fifth place right now, and some people just haven't been putting in a lot of work to update their apps for it. So unfortunately, that is what it is. Raymond, will 5G kill all ISP data caps or not overnight? No, 5G is not going to kill them overnight, but it will definitely eventually, I think, kill off data caps, because it's going to continuously put pressure on cable and DSL, who have basically pretty much every company said, yeah, this isn't, no longer is this about data management like it was back in the day. This is about making money. It's about one more way to tax heavy internet users, basically. And suddenly, if there's 5, 6, 7, 8 internet providers in your neighborhood, yeah, the Comcast, the Spectrums, or Spectrum doesn't have it, but the internet service providers with data caps will have to suddenly say, you know what? We're going to have to drop this data cap because we need a way to stand out and compete. And right now, that's the only way we can really do that. So just keep that in mind. But will it happen overnight? No. We're already seeing the first 5G network go live in a few areas. Verizon by the end of the year, T-Mobile by the end of the year, AT&T by the end of the year, with others saying they're going to launch in 2019. with the goal right now is about 2020 to have half the United States covered, 2024 to have all the United States, relatively all, vast majority of the United States covered. Once that happens, and once you can say I can pick up from DSL, cable, Google, Dish, Verizon, T-Mobile, Charter, the list goes on and on. Once that starts happening and people are, oh wow, we have real competition, we're going to have to start offering competitive services. Just keep that in mind. Yes, Mule, Spectrum does offer an a la carte service. They must have raised their price, because if it's 26 now, it used to be 21. Well, plus the fees, I guess it was 26. But yeah, you get to pick, you get your locals plus a bunch of music channels, and then you get picked 10 channels from a list. But there is no DVR. There's certain other restrictions. Some people like it. They're definitely, the lack of DVR, I think for a lot of people is a down point. But for others, I think if you just want sports, you don't care about it, it's not a bad option. Joe, I do agree that 5G will kill data caps. I get maybe it wasn't clear. I just don't think it's going to happen overnight, as he asked about. It will happen, but not. There's going to be no snap of the fingers moment and be like, oh, 5G's here and all data caps across the country are gone. I guess that's what I was trying to say. Maybe I didn't communicate that clearly. Any new information on Sling TV and Univision? Univision, last I heard, said that Sling TV and them are not in communication. So yeah, Sling TV is drawing the line. Univision drawing the line. Who's going to blink? Or does no one? We'll wait and see. Do you think all... what do you think of all the phone services raising their prices? I mean, phone services have been going up forever. So, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Can you tell me why both Hallmarks are on the cheaper package and not the most expensive package, DirecTV Now? Why, I don't know. DirecTV Now has never answered that question. It's a contract issue. What exactly about the contract that makes them do that? I don't know. Is Fubo TV the go-to for sports fans? For some services, it's really good, especially if you're a soccer fan. But it does lack ESPN, and that for many will still hold them back from making that a go-to sports service. So, but Fubo TV now has 4K, and that is something that I don't think any other live TV streaming service right now can claim. Hey, real quick, a lot of new people here. Hit that subscribe button every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're right here. Other videos here, how-to guides, reviews, weekly recap shows over at cordcuttersnews.com. That's cordcuttersnews.com. Link in the show notes. We have weekly cord cutting Q&A shows. We would love to have you join us there. Or we have daily news stories, 5, 6, 7 news stories, all about the world of cord cutting, stuff you don't see here on YouTube. Love to have you join us all the time. If I haven't answered your question, we got about 10 minutes here. We'll wrap this up. Re-ask your questions. I will do my best to answer them all. So keep that in mind. Any word on Nextstar's NBC contract renewal? Nope, not that I've heard of. So far, I like Spectrum Internet has a good 60 plan, and changed deal and all bump. They changed the deal, automatically bumped me to 100 gigabyte plan, 100 Mbps down. I'm assuming is what you mean. Yeah, the thing you need to remember though, internet service providers are not equal in all areas. You can have Charter and I can have Charter with totally different things. Charter in my area offers a gigabyte plan. They may not offer that in your area, for example. So just keep that in mind. Is AT&T Sportsnet available on DirecTV Now? No. Last I heard, unless they just snuck that out. But AT&T Sportsnet, unfortunately, it's one of the last services not to come out to cord cutting. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality. All right, get those questions in. I will do my best to answer them. You have just a few minutes left. All right, Dean. I see you said that you got the email for the 3 months of DirecTV Now for $10. I'm noticing that many streaming services are slowly increasing their subscription fees. What are your thoughts? I posted about this. Cord cutting has never saved Americans more money. For example, many cable TV subscriptions went up about $10. Some went up as much as $15. So while, yeah, some cord cutting services went up $5, if you compare that, compared to last year, you're saving even more money now than you did last year. So just keep that in mind. You may be like, oh, price went up. My favorite is like, oh, I'm going back to cable. These price hikes are crazy. When cable's raising their price double, and some of the cable services went triple what, all the price hikes were on cord cutting. The reality is it's not feasible to say that the price you pay now for Netflix will be the price you're paying in 10 years. It's just not the reality of it. But the good news is there's no contracts. Unlike cable, where when they raise your price, you're stuck. With cord cutting, you can always just say, see ya, I'm going to another service that maybe has the channel I want, has the price point I want. So just keep that in mind. Cord cutting has never saved Americans more money than it does now. Were you surprised the FCC was thinking about stopping Sinclair's sale? No. It's very in line, actually. You look at like the government, they attempted to block the AT&T Time Warner merger. They've looked very negatively on many of these type of mergers. So there's a lot of propaganda out there, basically. I would say that. And a lot of people who really don't know what they're talking about are talking. And if you look at it closely, the fact that the FCC pushed back on the Sinclair deal shouldn't surprise you at all. So just keep that in mind. As always, there's people who say everything's great, whatever. In this case, FCC hates TV companies. Oh, the FCC loves cable companies, going to do whatever they want, TV companies. The truth is somewhere in the middle. As with all news, look at the people who say everything's horrible. Look at people who say everything's great. The truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe a little bit more one way or the other. Just remember that be cautious about getting sucked into the idea that this person has all the right news or this person has the right take on it. I don't know. I'm hoping that makes sense, but the truth typically in these things are somewhere in the middle. Is Cox going to come up with a cell phone plan? Very possible, but I don't think I've heard of it yet. C-Cloud, I believe that was shut down on Roku. Sarita, I believe I answered that question. Why DirecTV Now has Hallmark on the basic package, but not the higher one? I just don't know. I really don't. Is the FCC a mafia? No. Anyone who says the FCC is a mafia is probably somebody you should take with a grain of salt. The reality of it is FCC is not an elected body. And this is one of the things I said about net neutrality. People are like, oh, we want the FCC to run the net neutrality. Do we? They're not elected. They can really do whatever they want. And they're very subjected to the winds of the moment. So just keep that in mind. Are they a mafia? No. They're a regulatory body of unelected people, which is very true. So just keep that thoughts. Luke, Warrior, is that what you were trying to hammer home with the net neutrality laws? The fact that the FCC is a unelected body and that net neutrality was never a law. That, net neutrality was a rule, not a law. So just keep that in mind, that rules are easily changed on a whim. Laws are very difficult to change. If you want net neutrality, having it as a law is a much better thing than just saying, FCC, we want you to do that. Because the FCC, even if they say, okay, well, we'll have net neutrality, they could very easily make changes to it, make it less powerful, more strict in some areas, at a whim of a few unelected people. So if you follow my coverage, I've always said the real answer here is that. Sorry, I'm reading and talking, it's not working. The real answer to net neutrality, I firmly believe, is a law there. All right, Sarita, I'm not sure. I thought I answered that one earlier. Why is both Hallmark channels on the basic package but not the higher one? It is the fact that there's some contract there. Why? What exactly about the contract makes DirecTV Now do it? I don't know. But their contract with Hallmark is set up that way. I wish I knew why we don't. HBO, or Hallmark, and DirecTV Now has not answered that. I did not sleep really well last night, and it's definitely catching up with me. I got the TiVo TP Day. I'm not sure if I understand that. With my antenna and Roku, getting ready to cut the cord in my man cave as a test, so my wife will come on board. Yeah, Cliff. Hey, my number one. If you're thinking about testing it out, that's a great way to do it. Cord cutting is a great thing about it is you don't have to make a commitment to it. Try for a few weeks, get everything you want for cord cutting, get it all set up, try it for a few weeks. This is what we did. We tried it for about a month, and for the first week, every now and then we went back to cable because we weren't able to find a show, but after about a month, we quickly found all the content we want out there. And then once the month was done, we're like, hey, we're good. We don't need cable anymore. So we canceled it. But yeah, it's a great idea to go out there and test it for a few weeks before you go and actually pay for it. So keep that in mind. But hey, I see a lot of people ask about net neutrality. Yeah, I firmly believe a law is what would be the best case for net neutrality. If you really want net neutrality, you want it as a law because laws are hard to change. Where rules created by an unelected FCC board are easy to change, as you just found. A new body takes over the FCC, very quickly changes the rules. Even if they keep it, they could weaken it, they could make it stronger, they could do anything at a whim. If it's a law, it's much more difficult to do that. You do have to be more careful because when you pass laws, there's consequences there. It's not something you can easily change. So you got to make sure you get it right. But a law is something that doesn't get changed overnight. So that's my stance on net neutrality. I hope that makes sense. Fingers crossed it does. Robert says he can't believe there's still a Blockbuster video store. Yeah, so we reported this earlier this week. A few days ago, all the Blockbusters in Alaska, one of the last places to have Blockbusters closed, all the remaining ones. There's one store left, one Blockbuster left in Oregon, in like a 90,000 person town. It's relatively isolated. I'm not really sure why that one succeeds, but I don't know. Maybe they should try to become like a tourist trip. Wouldn't it be cool if it was, you could go get a tour of how a Blockbuster worked and still rent a movie there? I don't know. I bet they could be the Blockbuster Museum. That would be awesome. Who would go to a Blockbuster Museum? I don't know. It's funny though, Blockbuster failed, but Family Video is still going fairly strong. Luke, will the midterms be life or death for net neutrality? No. Raymond, this kind of goes back to what I said. There's people who say, doom and gloom, everything's horrible, and there's people who say, everything's great. The truth is somewhere in between. For the net neutrality, I think it's a little closer to everything is great. Not to say that it's not bad, but this idea that, remember, politicians are trying to be elected. How do they try to get elected? By telling you the worst possible news. If you don't vote for us, you're going to die. We're going to take away all your freedoms, or we're going to go crazy on it. So take it with a grain of salt. Is it important to vote? Yes, it's very important. I strongly encourage you to vote. Is it the end? Is this like our one last chance to do something? No. I think the answer really probably is with the states at the state level. You're seeing increasingly that roll out. And that's not something that the midterms will be affected by. With California, Washington, New York, and other states proposing net neutrality laws, I think that's the best way to do it. If a majority of the states pass it, even if some don't, ISPs will be kind of forced to have net neutrality nationwide. So no, net neutrality, even if I'll say this, even if the elections don't go the way that some of the people who are promoting it with net neutrality, trying to use net neutrality to get you to vote, I don't think net neutrality is dead. And I don't think it will really change much, to be honest with you. I do, think, like I always say, if you want net neutrality, contact your state and local reps. Those are probably the people who are most interested in listening to you. Go next to your Senate reps. Call them, be polite, do not be rude on the phone. Send them a physical written letter. Physical written letters are a lot harder to ignore, and honestly, from what I hear from people inside Washington, are actually considered more important or are more valuable than emails. Because so many sites have these like self-generated email lists where you can press a button and it sends a form letter by email to your representative, that a lot of representatives are kind of disregarding emails, is what I'm being told. So physically go out there and write them a note about net neutrality would be my recommendation. So keep that in mind. Call them, or write a note. But don't just send your senators in Congress. Send your state reps a letter and a phone call too. Because like I said, a lot of states have net neutrality bills on there. And I believe that's probably going to be really where net neutrality gets addressed right now. So just keep that in mind. All right, we're done with net neutrality. Can you recommend a cheap Android tablet? Cheap, I really have to like those Amazon Fire tablets. It doesn't have access to the Google Play Store. It does have a good collection of ones. But if you want a tablet, majority for watching videos, the Fire tablets are probably the best video tablets. Of course, you get the Amazon, they have Netflix, they have Hulu on there, and it works really well. So I would say for cheap Android, that's good. The Samsung tablets, excuse me, if you really need an Android tablet, we needed one for my daughter. Some of her educational apps were not available on the Fire TV, and they've really made it hard to silo Google Play ones on the Fire TV. So we got a cheap Samsung tablet, and I've been very impressed. It's a decent little tablet. It's not perfect by any means, but for a cheap tablet, it's good. So there we go. Hey, we've hit everything from net neutrality to cord cutting tips and everything in between. But hey, if I can leave you with one thing, remember, there's people who tell you life is doom and gloom. There's people who tell you everything is fine. The truth is somewhere in between. That goes for everything in life. I really find when it comes to news. Remember, doom and gloom news sells. If I tell you, if I have a headline on the site that says, you're going to die tomorrow morning, find out why here, you're probably going to click on that more than a story that says everything is fine. I remember news organizations are businesses that want to make money, so they want you to click on their stories. So just keep in mind, take a grain of salt when you see doom and gloom. Does that mean everything is fine? No. Doesn't mean everything's perfect. Doesn't mean everything's rose-colored. So keep that in mind. So just keep that right. Sarita, am I the only one out there? Can you guys hear me when I talk about, is my microphone working? Am I the only one hearing me? So just keep that in mind. Sarita, I think I've tried to say this a few times now. Why is Hallmark, actually I know I've answered this question 4 times, Sarita. Why is Hallmark only on the base package? We don't know. AT&T has not said. It's some type of contractual issue. Exactly why, we don't know, unfortunately. Hallmark, those channels are only in the base package, not in the higher end ones. I don't know. Hallmark is on other streaming services like Sling TV. If you aren't getting what you want with DirecTV Now, maybe look at Sling TV. I think it's on PlayStation View also, I believe. So check that out. So keep that in mind. Is barbecue better in Texas than North Carolina? I've lived in North Carolina. I've lived in Texas. I prefer Texas. If you get true North Carolina barbecue, it's kind of a vinegary sauce on it, or I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. That barbecue in Texas is better. Sorry, I've lived in North Carolina. I was a YMCA camp director in Greensboro, North Carolina, at Camp Weaver, a great summer camp. The executive director there, a guy named Jamie, is unbelievable. If you live in North Carolina, send your kids to Camp Weaver in Greensboro. But while I was living there, I had the misfortune of eating a lot of North Carolina barbecue. Sorry, you may hate me, but I just think that the barbecue in Texas is better. All right, hey, on that note, on our barbecue review of the week, Rudy's is not bad at all. I will say, though, Missouri barbecue is pretty dang good, too. A little place outside of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, out there in St. Robert, Missouri area, around the border, called Sweetwater Barbecue. It's probably got some of the best barbecue in the United States. Check it out. All right, everybody. Hang in there. Have I had Ruby's barbecue? Yes, I have. But hey, everybody, hang in there. Thanks for your support. I hope that answers all your cord cutting related questions. We appreciate your support, and we would love to have you back here next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check us out over at CoreCardsNews.com. If you're in Dallas, come this Saturday, 8 or 4 p.m. Central. Oops, second time. That doesn't happen too often. 4 p.m. East or Central, excuse me. We're having a meetup in Dallas. I'll put the red bar across the top on the website right now if you want to go learn about that. Come shake my hand, eat some free food, have some free drinks. We'll love to have you come join us. I will see you coming up real soon on next week, Wednesday. And check us out on Friday for our weekly core cutting Q&A or our recap show. Man, I'm tired. This traveling, having a vacation, which went very well. Saw a few people ask me. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I'm completely now trying to catch up on my sleep and everything. So I'll see you next week. Hopefully a little bit more coherent.